if I were to explain what it feels like, it's like a good analogy would be you're possessed. Like if you watch a scary movie, it's like you see them possessed and they have no control over their body. They're in there, but they're not. And that's what it felt like for me. It felt like I was trapped in this dark, twisted mindset that I had no control over. I would wake up and immediately feel as if a knife was through my chest, and I'd look in the mirror and be completely dissatisfied. No matter what I did or what I said, I didn't like it. My mind was telling me that I was horrible, I was worthless, that nothing about me was good. I felt as though I had no reason to be sad, and that caused so much anger in me that it ruined relationships with other people, and because of that, I felt like it was all my fault, how I couldn't control my own feelings. I had nothing to be sad about, I had nothing to be mad about, but here I am, ungrateful for everything I had. I only could focus on the negative. I hated myself, I hated who I was. Constantly my mind was telling me that no one wanted me there and I should just end it all there. When I say the pain of depression is unlike anything, that's absolutely serious. Before I had depression, I never could wrap my head around suicidal thoughts or people who committed suicide until I had depression. And every day, I couldn't sit into class without thinking about it. I would sit in class and the only thoughts going through my mind were that I needed to somehow escape the pain and that there was no other way. The monstrosity of living just became overwhelming. And every day from basketball, after basketball practice, I would get in my car, immediately start crying, and the entire drive home, my mind was telling me to just drive straight into a tree. Just drive into the tree, end it, so you can't handle this pain anymore. There was one particular day where everything just felt like it was falling apart. I had missed my morning lift, so I didn't have that release in the morning to give me some sort of pain relief. That day was awful, and I got home, and there had been a few weeks where I'd just get in the shower and I'd lay there and I would cry on my knees begging to make the pain stop, just begging for anything, for the pain to stop. I couldn't take it anymore. So after that shower, I decided I was going to end my life. The moments right before I was going to take the pills, if I were to describe it, it's like a tug-of-war in your mind. And you have one side of you, that's the depression, one side of you, that's you, the real you. And the depression is much stronger, and it's telling you, you have no escape, you're worthless, no one wants you here, just end it. Your life will be no life will be better than this. And then you have you, who's just like really small, and there's just that tiny ounce of, but I don't want this to end. But the depression's overpowering you, but you're fighting as hard as you can. And that was me. I was trying to find some reason for me to live because I wanted to live. It just felt like I had no other option. SOS happened to be like a week before that, so it was like the same time period. And I remember I was there, but I wasn't there because I was so trying not to just lose it during the training. But I did take in some of the information, and I remember it saying that, sometimes there's no trigger. And I remember you describing the feelings, and I was like, wow, that's kind of what I feel. But I was just so ignorant to the fact that it was an illness. I decided to go to guidance because I felt I had no one to talk to. So I went to guidance, and there I broke down. I admitted I had tried to take my life. After that, immediately I got help. I got into therapy. They put me on medication, and that was the first step of getting better. I knew a change was actually going to happen and I was going to feel better. I did things, I worked out. Drawing helped me a lot. There was one thing I loved to do, and that was I'd make a bucket list. Every time I had the feelings of I wanted to end my life, I would think about one thing I wanted to do in the future, whether it be go on a trip to the Philippines or something like that. I'd think about that and focus on it and kind of plan out the details just to take my mind off of it. If it weren't for the suicide program, I probably never would have realized I actually had a mental illness. And if I didn't know that, I probably wouldn't be here today, because I would have just let the pain grow and grow, and it would have become more and more overwhelming. And I don't think I could have handled more than I did. And I say that with complete honesty. And just because I am admitting that, it doesn't make me weak. If anything, it makes me stronger. And anyone experiencing depression, you are not weak. My biggest advice, first I would want to tell you that it's not your fault. I think that is the problem, and that was the problem with me. I thought it was all my fault. I thought all of this pain, suffering, it was my fault. I did it to myself. I was doing it to others. I was hurting others. But it really wasn't my fault. And if I had known that, I probably would have gotten help earlier. Yes, some people, they have it for years. They have it for months. Sometimes it's short time, sometimes it's a long time. But at the end of the day, it's going to be okay. And if there's a saying that goes, if it's not okay right now, then it's not the end, because in the end everything's going to be okay. And I think that's true, because no matter what, there is a light at the end of the tunnel. It's just you have to choose to follow that path. It felt like I had a future now.